Adequate notice of this meeting was provided and published in the Asbury Park Press and the Ocean Star on January 7, 2022. Copies of the agenda were provided to the newspaper, posted on public bulletin boards on the Township website.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilman Albanese.
Here.
Councilwoman Zapsik. Here. Councilwoman DeYoung.
Here.
Councilwoman Pontorero.
Here.
Councilman Halloran.
Here.
Vice President Crate.
Here.
President Menachino.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to take a minute to salute the flag and a moment of silence, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, can you accept and report and file the reports, please?
Yes.
Thank you. Can I get a motion and a second to approve the minutes for September 13th meeting?
Motion. Second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontorero.
Yes.
Councilman Halloran.
Yes.
Vice President Crate.
Yes.
President Menachino.
Yes.
Thank you.
This brings us to our consent agenda.
All matters listed under item consent agenda will be enacted by one motion in the form listed below. If discussion is desired on any item, this item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately.
Thank you. Resolution 4-1.
Authorize receipt of bids, pavement markers, various locations.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Thank you, Council President. This resolution authorizes the receipt of bids for pavement markings at various locations throughout town. Each year, the township engineer solicits bids for a contractor to complete the striping work as needed. Thank you.
Thank you. Resolution 4-2.
Authorize receipt of bids, purchase and delivery of various doors.
Thank you. Councilwoman DeYoung, sorry.
Thank you. This resolution authorizes the receipt of bids for the purchase and delivery of various doors throughout the township. This bid is for doors used throughout the township for in-house construction projects, and these materials will be needed on various projects during the year, including the renovation of the future senior center on Aurora Place and construction of a new special operations garage to be constructed at the rear of the town hall property.
Thank you. Resolution 4-3.
Authorize contract purchase and delivery front load dumpsters.
Councilwoman Pontorero.
Thank you, Council President. This resolution authorizes a contract for the purchase and delivery of front-load dumpsters to CS Products. This resolution CS Products, in Ambler, PA, in the amount of $2,135 per container with a total of 10 containers. Bid notices were provided to 44 bidders from our bidders list, and 4 picked up the packages. 1 bid was received. These dumpsters are being acquired through the 2022 recycling grant. Thank you.
Thank you. Resolution 4-4.
Authorize award of contract New World Public Safety Software Suite for Brick Police Department.
Councilman Halloran.
Thank you, Council President. This resolution authorizes the award of contract for an additional module of the New World Public Safety Software Suite to Tyler Technologies, Troy, Michigan, in the amount of $19,744. New World Public Safety Software Suite is used by the Police Department. This service falls under NJSA 40A :11-5 of the Local Public Contracts Law as an approved exemption, which allows for the provision or performance of goods or services for the support or maintenance of proprietary computer hardware and software. Thank you.
Thank you. Resolution 4-5.
Authorize contracts with state contract vendors, radio console equipment.
Councilman Halloran.
Thank you, Council President. This resolution authorizes a contract with state contract vendor PMC Associates in the amount of $152,050 for radio console equipment, specifically This will enable the police department to replace the existing consoles in the police dispatch center, which were purchased in 2004. The system is so old that replacement parts are no longer available. Thank you.
Thank you. Resolution 4-6.
Authorize to terminate contract and award contract to next lowest bidder, computer and printer supplies.
This resolution authorizes the termination of a contract with the Tree House for computers and printer supplies and awards the contract to the next lowest responsive and responsible bidder, which is MRA International, at an approved schedule of prices. The Tree House was the successful bidder for various items initially, but was since notified the Township of the inability to fulfill its obligation and requested to instead rescind the bid. Resolution 4-7.
Authorize closeout change order number 1, roadway resurfacing Pine Terrace section.
Council Vice President Crate.
Thank you. This resolution
That's not on, sorry. This resolution authorizes a change order and contract closeout in the contract with S. Brothers for the roadway resurfacing project in the Pine Terrace section of the township. This change order reflects a contract decrease in the amount of $11,468.26.
Thank you. Resolution 4-8.
Authorize approval of annual compensation for Board of Fire Commissioners, Districts 1, 2, and 3.
Thank you. Councilman Albanese.
Thank you, Council President. This resolution approves the compensation as approved by Brick Township Board of Fire Commissioners for firefighters in Districts 1, 2, and 3. This resolution is in accordance with state law that requires municipal governing bodies to review and approve the annual compensation for 2023 proposed for members who serve on the Board of Fire Commissioners.
Thank you. Resolution 4-9.
Authorize state aid agreement with NJDEP for beach renourishment.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. This resolution authorizes the state aid agreement with the NJDEP for the beach renourishment project that's scheduled to go out to bid this fall. It's going to be going out to bid. In this agreement, brick beaches will be renourished as needed. Municipalities included in this project are responsible for the 25% of the non-federal share. And we got great news about 10 days ago. We went down to the county and the commissioners announced that Ocean County would be covering 50% of our share. They have been funding that in their budget over years, and they've done it before for the LBI renourishments, and they planned on doing it for ours, and now ours is up. So they made the great announcement to all of our beach towns about 10 days ago. And the township funds are set aside as well in an existing beach replenishment ordinance as well. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. 4-10, please.
410A is an inspection fund release for 2026 Route 88 LLC for Block 1029, lots 20, 21, and 22 in the amount of $4,800.29. 10B is an inspection fund release for Guzzi Masonry and Paving LLC for Block 830, Lot 31 in the amount of $2,127.32. 410C is an inspection fund release for HBI Inc. for Block 1149, Lots 5, 5.01, and 6 in the amount of $38.75. 410D is an inspection fund release for the Farm at 511 LLC Merrymakers Caterers for Block 1383, Lot 2 in the amount of $840.14. And 410E is an inspection fund release for 46 Princeton Avenue LLC for Block 869, Lot 15 in the amount of $324.64.
Thank you. 4-11, please.
11A, 100% DAV widow of veteran cancel and refund taxes for Block 124.03, Lot 1. 11B is 100% DAV widow of veteran cancel and refund taxes, Block 1051, Lot 6. 10C is 100% DAV widow of veteran cancel and refund taxes, Block 1124, Lot 2.13. 11D, 100% DAV widow of veteran cancel and refund taxes for Block 377.08, Lot 42. And 11E is a tax exemption and refund taxes for Block 548, Lot 17.
Thank you. Resolution 4-12, please.
Authorize execution of addendum agreement pro champs.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Thank you. In June, the township was notified of changes incurred by New Jersey legislation and its impact on vacant and abandoned property registrations. That legislation requires the establishment of an escrow fund until the modifications to the ordinance are complete. This addendum establishes that escrow fund.
Thank you. This ends our consent agenda. Can I get a motion and a second, please?
Second.
Open to council. Seeing none, close council. Open to public for questions on the resolutions only. Seeing none, close public. Roll call.
Councilman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontarero.
Yes.
Councilman Halloran.
Yes.
Vice President Crate.
Yes.
President Menachino.
Yes.
Thank you.
This brings us to our computer bill resolution.
Be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Brick that the following bills be paid, and that the mayor and clerk be and are hereby authorized to draw orders on the treasurer for the amounts of the same. Computer bill resolution in the amount of $11,380,481.35.
Thank you. Can I get a motion and a second?
Motion.
Second.
Open to council. Close council. Open to public for questions on the computer bill resolution. Seeing none, close public. Roll call.
Councilman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontarero.
Yes.
Councilman Halloran.
Yes.
Vice President Crate.
Yes.
President Menachino.
Abstain Teamsters and yes to the rest. This brings us to our bill resolution, manual bill resolution.
Be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Brick that the following bills be paid, and that the mayor and clerk be and are hereby authorized to draw orders on the treasurer for the amounts of the same. Manual bill resolution in the amount of $1,841,162.71.
Thank you. Can I get a motion and a second?
Motion.
Thank you. Open to council. Seeing none, close council. Open to public for questions on the manual bill resolution. Seeing none, close public. Roll call.
Councilman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontarero.
Yes.
Councilman Halloran.
Yes.
Vice President Crate.
Yes.
President Menachino.
Yes.
Thank you.
This brings us to an ordinance on first reading, number 5-1.
An ordinance of the Township of Brick, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, authorizing the acceptance of the donation of property known as Block 210.31, lots 4, 5, 6, and 7 for no consideration.
Thank you. Councilwoman Zapsik.
Thank you, Council President. This acceptance of property came as the result of a recommendation by the Township's Land Use Committee. The owner of 69 Hollycrest, vacant lots 210.31, lots 4, 5, 6, and 7, contacted the Township about donating the land to the municipality. These lots are a hardship to build on due to the classification of wetlands. As a result, they would like to donate the lots to Brick Township. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I get a motion and a second?
Motion.
Second.
Open to council. Seeing none, close council. Roll call.
Councilman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontarero.
Yes.
Councilman Halloran.
Yes.
Vice President Crate.
Yes.
President Menachino.
Yes.
Thank you.
This brings us to first ordinance reading on 5-2, please.
An ordinance of the Township of Brick, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, amending the Township Code of the Township of Brick in Chapter 288-31 to prohibit parking on Davos Road.
Thank you. The Council Public Safety Committee is recommending consideration of the ordinance based on the Brick Township Police Department's Traffic Safety Unit and Engineering Division evaluation of Davis Road to address concerns raised about emergency vehicle access. In accordance with the New Jersey Residential Site Improvement Standard, parking on residential streets is permitted on both sides of the road when the road has a minimum pavement width of 30 feet. Parking permissible on one side of the street when there's a minimum pavement width of 28 feet. Davis Road has variable pavements width that is approximately 29 feet closest to the intersection of Princeton Avenue and tapers to approximately 24 feet at the northern terminus just prior to the semicircle area provided to allow vehicles to turn around. At its narrowest point, Davis Road is approximately 21 feet in width. The road width tapers, but essentially is not enough support on the street parking. The road width has been studied by traffic safety and fire departments and engineering, who are recommending on-street parking be restricted on Davis Road. Can I get a motion and a second?
Motion.
Second.
Open to council. Seeing none, close council. Roll call.
Councilman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontarero,
Yes.
Councilman Halloran,
Yes.
Vice President Crate,
Yes.
President Menachino.
Yes.
Thank you.
6-1, please. Ordinance on second reading.
An ordinance of the Township of Brick, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, amending the Township Code of the Township of Brick, Chapter 329, to be entitled Registration of Defaulted Mortgage and Vacant Property.
Thank you. Councilwoman DeYoung.
Thank you. In 2018, the township contracted with ProChamps to handle the registration of vacant and abandoned properties in the township. In August 2021, a Superior Court ruling determined that municipalities had a legitimate interest in passing regulations seeking to address vacant and abandoned properties. However, ordinances in question too broadly defined what a vacant and abandoned home is and required municipalities to better define vacant and abandoned properties. This ordinance amends our existing ordinance to bring us in line with the goals outlined by the judge and address the court's ruling.
Thank you. Can I get a motion in a second?
Second.
Open to council. Seeing none, close council. Open to public. Yes, Ms. Cole.
Nan Call, 18 Greenbrier Boulevard. Would you please tell me what I should be getting from your explanation of this amendment of Chapter 329? I didn't hear anything that really told me what it's doing.
All it's doing is changing the word defaulted to foreclosed.
Okay, how about reading the paragraph that's in, or better yet, since you have not informed us what is causing you to vote the way you are about to, how about reading the whole thing to us? Shouldn't be too long, since our township says we're entitled to know exactly what you're voting on, how you are arriving at that vote, yay, nay, and what's included in it. This is not the old days where the town sampler used to print it in full and not charge the township. I want more information on what you'll be using to register a defaulted mortgage and vacant property.
I explained that ProChamps is the one that is the vendor that we use.
ProChamps is a vendor.
Yes.
That doesn't tell me anything about how you're arriving at the decision. What is a defaulted mortgage? What is a vacant property? ProChamps might know, but they're not the township, and they're not the council. It's your duty to inform us. Somebody must have written this. Inform us what's in it. Exactly.
I read the explanation of what is changing in the
That's not an
ordinance.
explanation. An explanation is reading us the amendment.
Okay.
Perhaps the attorney would do the honor of explaining it more fully and reading it. You're the person that's in charge of advising them on what is proper and just.
I'll comment on the ordinance. I'm not gonna read the ordinance. It's multiple pages. It's published for notice, and copies are made available to the public.
Where? I didn't have any copy available to me.
Well, I'll defer to the clerk on
It was
that.
posted on the township website, and it was posted on the public bulletin.
I know you did your part, but that doesn't necessarily make it available to me. The town sampler used to go out to every single home and have the full text of these things, and no charge to the township. Lord rest Ed Muller, because he's probably turning in his grave.
So this ordinance is a revision to a prior ordinance. It was adopted a few years ago. One of the concerns brought to the attention of the council by the construction official is that when properties go into foreclosure, they sometimes become vacant, or even if not vacant, meaning people have moved out, or even if not vacant, the person who is being foreclosed on stops maintaining the property. So you have one or two things. And so you have these, ghost homes that might sit and be vacant and become become a nuisance, a public nuisance or an attractive nuisance to people. And one of the things the town wants to do is prevent that from happening. So the town adopted an ordinance several years ago on this issue to require the lenders, based on existing state law, because they own the mortgage on the property, to come in and cut the grass and maintain the property and secure the building and notify the town that they were in fact doing that. We had a number of cases under the Property Maintenance Board where we had lenders who were in the process of foreclosure, which takes sometimes several years, sort of ignoring the process and allowing the properties to become an eyesore. And so the town adopted an ordinance that provides for provisions that requires them to come and register with us, give us a contact person, a telephone number, someone we can call immediately if there's a problem on the property, such as someone's trespassing, such as someone is not maintaining the property. And this ordinance is in response to some recent changes in the law to simply address the definitional things such as what is a default and what is vacant. But this is not something that applies to most people that is probably in this audience. This is an issue for the construction official to maintain quality of life in the town when we have a property in the process of foreclosure that is not being maintained. We want to be on top of those lenders to make sure they come in, cut the grass, clean the gutters, clean the debris, not allow things to occur on the property. Beyond that, you have to read it. It's part of a whole section of the code that deals with property maintenance, and this is a tailored, specific part of the property maintenance that deals with properties in the process of foreclosure.
The obligation on reading it is really not mine, it's the township to explain it. Am I to understand from what you've just said that it requires a two-part? It must be a mortgage in default as well as appearing vacant.
No, it's either or.
It's either or, that's not what it says.
You can have a property that is vacant that also fits into this. You can have a property that's in default, and you can have a property that's in default and vacant.
Well, this seems to be the exact time that I will bring up. That's several years ago, and it was before 2015, because from 2015, I have slowly descended into to where I am now at the penultimate of depression, and I refuse to go into despair. My property looks like, right now, that it may be vacant. And I couldn't understand after the meeting a couple of weeks ago when I went home and pondered how it got that way. I mentioned that I have the wheelchair ramp. The concrete goes all the way down to the same line where my basement floor is. I never planted anything there. I purchased the property in August 2000. I didn't plant anything at all in the 3-foot perimeter, which is greatly misunderstood about that. And the reason why 3 feet is mentioned in many cases. My covenants demands that my association should be maintaining grading and drainage. I appealed my taxes back around 2010 on the grounds that they have not been. Alyssa Cummins was working for Birdsall. She was the person in charge of properties and what needed to be. I appealed to her. She sent Ken Schaefer, who is now retired. I met him not too long ago. He is living somewhere in Brickell, remembers very well, coming out to my property and squatting down on the side street on the second house off the corner of Greenbrier Boulevard, and between the house that's on the corner and the second house on Everest South, he showed me there is no drainage. The land has been compromised. I wrote letters. I came to the township, and Scott McFadden, on his last night before he went to work as the president of a Birdsall subsidiary, handed me a document that I had been requesting for 2 months at every council meeting. The I had gotten a copy, which somebody left in my folder as a board member of Greenbrier 2, that said, Alyssa Cummins was notifying Scott McFadden that they were working with me to correct the problems. And what Scott McFadden gave me said nothing of the kind, denied anything.
Ms. Cole. Ms.
Excuse
Cole,
me.
Thank you. Excuse me. You're well over your 5 minutes.
It's not. It's
listen.
not appropriate
Listen.
to stifle the comments of the taxpayer.
I'm not stifling you, Ms.
Yes, you are.
No, you're referring to stuff that has nothing to do with the township.
No,
This has to
it
do with
does,
your
and it has to do.
Ms. Cole, this has to do with your community that
No,
you
no,
need
no.
to take, listen.
Township
Mr.
Planning Board.
Mr. Keneally answered your questions efficiently. You asked him for his,
Yeah, he gave me that.
Yes.
But that's not sufficient to me.
Yes, so-
It doesn't explain it, nor does it explain why you are stifling my free
I'm not
speech
stifling you.
on the fact that the planning board insisted the developer
Cole.
U.S. Homes
Ms. Cole.
have that
The
covenant.
room is full. Yes.
Oh, yeah,
Thank-
5 minutes.
Yes.
To continue that and not talk about anything else.
Thank you.
I will sit down,
Thank you.
but in protest.
Thank you. Anybody else from public on this ordinance? Yes, sir.
Rick Finelli, maybe we can help Nan out a little bit. I've seen her ask questions for clarification a lot, but nobody asked her the question, does she go on the website and look at the agenda? Do you do that?
Mr. Finelli,
Okay.
you need to address us, not the public.
Okay.
Thank you.
I just wanted her to know that the information that she was looking for about this ordinance, there's pages of it on the agenda. You know, when you scroll down there, it's all there. So if she wants to see those things, you tell her it's on the website, but I don't think she understands what you're telling her. It's on the agenda. Look at the agenda when it comes up 2 days before, and all the backup information is there. You'll find it.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you
Finelli.
so much.
Anybody else from public, please, on this ordinance? Seeing none, roll call.
Councilman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
Yes.
Councilman Halloran.
Yes.
Vice President Crate.
Yes.
President Menachino.
Yes.
Thank
This
you.
brings us to public comments.
Please note that each person addressing the council during any section of the meeting during which public comment is permitted shall limit his or her remarks to 5 minutes pursuant to Brick Township Administrative Code, Section 2-33B.
Anybody from public, please? Yes, Mr. Sluka. You need to raise your hand when you want to be heard. Thank you, sir. No, you're good. You're good, Mr. Sluka. Thank you.
I am going to read my letter.
Thank you.
Dated September 23rd and this morning. Dear Mayor Ducey, Council President Vincent Menachino, and all Brick councilmen and councilwomen. Let me start with a note from the last meeting. I still feel that the schools are not getting their financial fair share from the sports complex arrangement. I think the mayor and the council should put into every resolution that the Board of Education should get a percentage of all the monies received from the sports complex in that agreement. Maybe it shouldn't be 55%, which is about what they get now on taxable areas, but 30 to 40% should be considered, and it's not unreasonable. The biggest argument against such a proposal is that we are not adding children to the school district, so they should not get any money. But when a McDonald's is built or a Royal Farm is built, no extra children go to the school system, but the schools still get their fair share. Although the arrangement's good for all us taxpayers, no matter who gets it, I'm paying less. I believe it does leave the schools at a disadvantage. Okay. The rest of my letter. The problem of the environmental destruction that causes lung and heart ailments among many of our residents continue to plague Brick residents and Ocean County citizens. Each and every one of our citizens is forced to breathe the toxins forced upon them by the New Jersey Turnpike Authority Commissioners. More and more studies prove that the impact of the Garden State Parkway's widening continues to be a danger to those who live within miles of the parkway. 20 feet high safety noise barriers are needed in many areas such as Evergreen Woods, Greenbrier, Brick High, Cherrywood, Pinewood, Sutton Village, Kettle Creek, Town Hall, and Lanes Mill School, and other areas in Brick and Ocean County. Along with the safety and noise walls, vast forestation needs to be replanted to lower the incidence of many diseases to our citizens. Cancer, COPD, asthma, autism are some of the results of the unfettered toxins brought to our residents by the widening that occurred many years ago. People continue to suffer ill effects of this man-made greed-driven destruction of the once scenic New Jersey Garden State Parkway. It's now been over 10 years that we've had this problem. Articles in journals such as Scientific America state our findings suggest that there are large and previous unappreciated public health consequences of air pollution with large numbers of children living near these major corridors. These findings confirm our understanding that air pollution not only makes things worse for people that have asthma, but actually causes asthma to develop in healthy children. And there is also emerging evidence that other diseases may be caused by urban and air pollution, including lung cancer and COPD. This is not the only study where these problems exist. The Journal of Air and Waste Management Associates state both large traffic volumes and smaller distances to the nearest major roadway was associated with large numbers of childhood asthma visits. The NewScientist.com states millions of children's asthma cases are linked to traffic pollution every year. The American Heart Association news states air pollution and traffic noise may raise heart failure risk in women, and they state that fine particulates matter and nitrogen dioxide causes women's risk for heart failure to rise. In the Pulmonary Advisor, they state that COPD severity is affected by traffic-related air pollution. And exposure to traffic-related air pollution is a significant contributor to respiratory morbidity and mortality. We need to show concern and speak out against the bureaucracy that's killing us all. Thank you, John Sluka, 950 Sylvia Court. I didn't mention at the beginning, sorry. Also, maybe the mayor wants to mention the anchor program for people who did not or may not have gotten their anchor thing in the mail to get their money back that they overtaxed us in the state from a couple of years back. So if you don't apply, you're not getting it. Okay, have a good day. I yield back 55 seconds.
Thank you.
Thank you. And it's super easy to apply.
Yes. Yes, sir. The blue shirt? Yes, sir. Need you to state your name and address, please.
Yes, my name is Harry Appelheimer. Address is 26 Lagoon Drive West in Brick. I've been a resident here since 1979 and actually had a boat at a dock since 76. So I've been around a while. I'm speaking on behalf of some issues with the recent dredging of the Nejeco Beach Lagoon. Besides the fact we're now paying for a dredge project that was initially handled by the township in 2000, and I understand there were some disparaging remarks made about the mayor at the time at a recent meeting. He had nothing to do with it. It was approved by an entire town council. I can tell you because I somewhat negotiated with the town, and at the time, starting in '95, of course, everyone wanted everyone else to pay for it. The state wanted the county wanted the township wanted us. Bottom line being, anyone on the water is paying double to triple the tax rate of a dry land lot. And that money does not come back to those property owners in the way of services in any way, shape, form, or whatever. So since '79, I've been paying double to triple the taxes of a 50 by 100 lot across the way. No difference in police, fire, first aid, street cleaning, street paving, snow plowing, no difference. So that is money that goes into the coffer, and that's fine. But what we did back in 2000 was point out the fact that what kept that value of that property high was navigable waterways, and we no longer had it. We had a pond, not a lagoon. And I understand the law that you more or less assessed us under, that NJSA 4056 allows for you to assess improvements to adjacent properties. And back then, we just needed the inlet dredged. So the only adjacent properties were the houses either side of the inlet and it would have been kind of tough to charge them $150,000, $200,000 assessment. So the town picked it up. None of us upstream of that had a problem with the depth of the lagoon. It was fine. So now we get to this current project, and this, the assessment, fine, it is all legal, but what some of the costs within that assessment are not necessarily fair. And the first one, oh, here's what I've got here. I've got a package of all of what I'm talking about for everyone, along with a picture of how bad it was before it got dredged this year. You could walk across this and not get your knees wet. You've got a picture of this in there, all right? So it was pretty bad. It was bordering on a pond in our backyard. Now, we get to the assessment. Joanne Bergen, at the contractors meeting prior to starting it, I asked her about the fact that 2 end properties on the lagoon were not included in the assessment. We were breaking that $300,000 charge up among 25 property owners, and there were 27 on the lagoon. She said the tax assessor had determined the list she was working from. She would speak to him. I hadn't heard back in about a month, and I called Mr. Kingsbury, who told me, in his opinion, those 2 riverfront property owners did not really need the lagoon, did not benefit from the lagoon, did not increase the value of their property, so he exempted them from it. And I said at the time, you better go check on whether they need it or use it, because I know for a fact one of them has a double jet ski lift and a docking alcove that the builder of that property used to dock a 30-foot cabin cruiser in. It wasn't until the river piers that were built out in recent times that only sees use now for jet skis and rowboats. And the property on the other side has dockside water, dockside electric, a spotlight, and boat bumpers and cleats along a long stretch of straight bulkhead. We're not talking about them having to dock their boats out in the river. It's actually an extension of the Nageco Beach Marina. So if you look at the Nageco Beach Marina, where the people pay to dock their boats to the beach club, there's probably another 100 feet of this property that's the same for sheltered dockage. I never really heard back from Mr. Kingsbury. I left him a message. He said he hadn't looked at it yet, and boom, he retired. Mr. Ryan took over, spoke with him in August, and he said he was going to stand on Mr. Kingsbury's decision, which again I found very unfair based on the fact they're using the lagoon. All right, I'll be brief. So that's our major problem. Their frontage on the lagoon amounts to something like 250 feet. If they were charged the same rate the rest of us are, they $48,000 over 10 years. Right? So $48,000 of their potential added assessment is being carried by the 25 other taxpayers on the lagoon. Not good. Last was I questioned the fact that in the contractor's itemized costs for dredging our lagoon, schedule of prices, placement and grading, 2190 cubic yards, $39,420. That's us paying to grade the sand on the town beach. We're being charged to grade the sand on your beach. So the argument we got for not paying to dredge the lagoon was, we don't pay to improve private property. Well, guess what? Private property shouldn't pay to improve township property, not on that selective a basis. Because that park is going to benefit everyone in Bricktown, not the 25 people who are paying the tab right now to plow your sand. So there's, oh, and by the way, when I questioned at the meeting, it's funny how the engineer, somebody from the township, the contractor, they all seem to have that excuse line of, oh, there's tipping fees, oh, there's this, oh, there's that. Tipping fees is when you go to a dump with trash that nobody wants. When you deliver sand to someone who's going to benefit from that sand, there's no tipping fees. Right? You're doing them more or less a favor. And actually, I sort of missed this. My fault. This project, I don't know if everybody remembers, this was called the Nageco Lagoon Dredge and Windward Beach Nourishment Project. That's Township Beach Nourishment Project. There's no breakout of your piece of this action, but there sure is a breakout of us paying $39,000 to plow sand. So between the $48,000 for those two properties that you've exempted, and that, we're talking $80,000, $90,000. By the way, here's pictures of those properties. Here's a, God bless Google Earth, all right? You can see how much frontage they have on the lagoon. There's pictures of their actual properties showing the jet ski lifts, all right? You'll have all of that to peruse. And I guess, was that beeper my 5 minutes?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes.
It's tough to get that all in. Two major issues, like I said. We don't feel we should pay to plow sand on the town beach, and we don't feel that those two properties should be exempt on that assessment. And from what I understand of the legality of that assessment, if the town does exempt someone from an assessment for whatever reason, it's up to the town to pick up their fair share of that work, right? So again, I don't know who to give this to. I'll leave it right here.
Thank you, sir.
Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else from public? Yes, Ms. Cole.
Nan Carl, 18 Greenbrier Boulevard. I'm not going to waste my time speaking on what I started during the previous section of the agenda. I am going to do a stream of consciousness about things that are upsetting me tremendously here, and where I question the ability of anyone that I currently see to govern this township. I'd like to know, when you took your oath of office, were you given any kind of a manual, handbook, reference about what your job description entailed as far as the job itself? I somehow doubt it. You may have been trained on putting in the agenda, and it isn't a proper way. You should have a parliamentarian here, and unfortunately, the attorney should serve as it, but never has happened since the latest regime changed back to a Democrat society. The leader of the Democrats is not the leader of Brick Township. It is not the leader of the country. We, the people, are the ones who are supposed to be self-governing, and therefore we should have the right to speak much longer. And I ask you, during your 5 minutes of council comments, to please respond to my statements. Did you ever get any education, and what was it about how to handle this? In fact, let's go back to, why did you campaign and try so hard to get elected and never talk to somebody who wasn't a Democrat? At this point, I think the minute you take your oath of office, and this goes from the very bottom to the top, including the president, stop putting any reference to a particular political party. I've tried to research exactly when that crept into the governance of the federal government, the state government, the county government, township or municipality government. I can't find that anywhere does it say that we should be pledging allegiance to somebody who has lied all the way for 40 years in government service. I think that everybody has to think about being a public servant. I know why some of you ran. You ran to get the benefits that nobody wants to talk about, but is public information. I want to give the credit to the late Road and Light Body, who was the engineer in Ocean County for the transportation and roads, and he talked about, and I realized, everything we do as a committee, as a group, as voters, equates to the 3 E's of engineering. Engineer, which is to design the plan. Educate, which means inform me in detail of what's in these things, not make me and tell me I have to go learn a whole new language of how to get onto the website In fact, I had a very pleasant encounter with an Apple Care employee yesterday because I picked up on a malware that was phishing, and she talked me through it, and I confirmed with her before I did anything that I was doing the right thing. You should be doing that and giving us. You should be our customer care representatives, listening to us, asking us, like my prettiest mayor, Ed Koch, in New York City did. How I doing? He would say all the time, and he would listen. I was not somebody who was ever close to him. I was busy working, raising 2 children. I was doing things that satisfied that, and going to my school PTAs, which was different. It was a Catholic school. Being a den mother and going to the troop and taking these boys back and forth to the meetings, bringing them to play in the ball field, and it was not something that school supplied. It was a Catholic school, so the fathers got together, and a couple of us mothers, and we did it for the boys. When my youngest son got married, I was shocked how many recognized me and was so wonderful. And they said, yeah, we do. You were always there for us, Mrs. Call.
Thank you. Yes, sir, in the checkered shirt. Name and address, please.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. My name's Tim Engelhart. I live on 33 Davos Davos Road. I've only been a resident with Brick for 6 years. I've had some correspondence with Mayor Ducey on Stephen Road from the Speedway. I've since moved from there. My understanding is they're looking to revoke parking on Davos Road. I think there are some better solutions to this, whether it's permit parking, one side of the road parking, and I know there will be some other individuals possibly from Davos Road that could elaborate on fire truck size, emergency personnel, vehicle sizes, etc. During the winter on Davos Road, there's nobody on Davos Road. Zero, except for visitors at my house, neighbors, etc. We have neighbors that have their children that park on the road because they don't have space in their driveways for everyone. If there's a chance to look at this again and reevaluate instead of eliminating parking, whether it's one side of the road parking, permit parking. I grew up in Point Pleasant Beach. I'm familiar with the whole permit parking, in the summertime, residents only. They give you passes. Another option. There is the choke point on Davos Road where there's a tree. No one on Davos Road owns that tree. That's on town property. That tree could be eliminated which I know that exact Thursday date when an emergency vehicle tried to get down, but someone parked their vehicle next to that tree with someone else parked on the opposite side. No one was able to get through. I understand it. I live down that road. It's important to have emergency vehicles get down to my house should there be a need. I understand that. That tree, from what the residents have discussed, is Bricktown property. If that tree is eliminated, that's going to widen that 21-foot area of Davos Road. I don't know what else to say. I mean, if I went to go try and sell my home, if you lived on Davos Road, or you went to go buy a home and someone told you can't park on this road, are you going to want to buy that home? Probably not. If I want to go sell my home, it might be an issue. So I know the residents of Davos are asking to reevaluate this situation and come to a conclusion, whether it's with the residents or with the council or whoever it may be. This is my first council meeting, so I've never had to ever stand up in front of the council or the mayor and address anything in any town I've ever lived in. So I'm just asking that this please be reevaluated, whether Davos residents come and speak with the council, the town, the engineers, whatever it is to come up with a resolution. But no parking on Davos is going to affect us all and impact us very tremendously. So that's really all I have to say to give my comments.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, in the back corner.
Good evening, folks. How you doing? My name is Anthony Natali, 14 Davos Road. I want to thank you for your expeditious movement on addressing the emergency condition on Davos Road. I thought that was outstanding. One of the things that we just kind of wanted to share with you is we didn't want to trade nightmares, meaning that it's great that we're going to be able to address the public safety issue of reaching the end of the block with emergency apparatus. However, we'd like to maybe have you folks consider something else. The narrowest part of the block, the hourglass, that's 21 feet. Fire apparatus is 8. I have a pickup truck, fairly wide. When I'm in it, it's even wider. That's about 6, so about 14 feet. So I have 7 feet of buffer to possibly leave parking on one side of the street. Now, I wasn't there. I know they did extensive measurements. They did a great job. Now, their conclusions may have produced something different. I'm just giving you the 10,000-foot view. So I trust in your opinion. Just wanted to give you some alternatives. Folks, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Forrester. Foster, sorry.
Sam Foster, 108 Chico Drive. I have 3 quick points here. Came in late. This is public comments, am I correct? Okay, yes. I came in late, so I do apologize about that. Just got off work from DoorDash. So, first was I want to follow up on what me and Cole said about the. Just want to say when I was an Ocean County Democratic Committeeman and Mayor Ducey, I know you could probably confirm this because we did have seminars for new people that wanted to run for political office, and at the county level. I don't know if they still have them or not, but that would be that's where people are told what's expected of them. I don't know if you remember that or not, but you might not have been there during when I was there, but we did. The Democratic Party does have seminars on what people are to who want to run for political office, what it means, what they're expected to do, and things like that. Also, the judicial system has standards also regarding conduct of people in office. That's just to follow up on what Nick Cole said. There's standards as far as what is expected and what is not. So I just wanted to say also, Mayor, have you heard anything about the, is it Royal Farms, that store that's going in next to the Brook Diner? That's the name of it, right? Royal Farms?
Yes, Royal Farms.
Do you have any update? Because I have one for you if you don't.
Well, I know they're doing a job fair tonight from 2 to 6, which is already over, so it's not tonight anymore. And then it's all day tomorrow, a job fair, trying to hire people.
Have you spoken to anyone there? Because I was there today. Have you spoken to anyone there about when it's going to open? Because I have an update.
No.
Okay, well, I can just tell you, I hope I'm not betraying her confidence, but I spoke with someone who's from corporate, and they said they're going to be. I asked, when are you going to open up? And she said December 8th is what our planning date is, because they're still having, like you said, they're having job openings there. They're trying to fill the staff. I thought it was funny because I delivered DoorDash deliveries, my first delivery today. She says, "Oh, Royal Farms." But they are they're interviewing people now, like you said. But that's what corporate said December 8th. You can confirm that. I know you're busy, so you can't be expected to be on, constantly with that just one store. But just wanted an update for the public, because I told them that they got their chicken out fried. They got a large size chicken out fried side, so it's like they're very proud of their chicken. They said so. One thing also I want to say that I want to compliment fortunately, I don't have their cards with them, but I've dealt with 3 people from code enforcement. I just want to say that they've been very polite, very nice, very respectful to me, and I wish I could remember their names. One was a Latino man. What's that? That might be one, and because there's 3 of them. And I had high grass, but it was raining, so I have an electric lawnmower, so I couldn't cut the grass. And I said I was going to compliment them because they worked with me. I came here because I couldn't get a hold of them because they're so busy. And they were very polite, very helpful, and I sent an email to them to thank them for the work that they did because they were very understanding. I said, look, I got an electric lawnmower, and then with the heat and everything, they, fortunately, my neighbors cut my front grass for me, but you know, I said, you know, it's like 90, when we had that bad heat storm, heat wave, you know, like 90 degrees for like 2 weeks or so. And there's no way I'm going to go out there and collapse. I have health problems anyway, so, and they've been acting up lately. But I just want to say that the entire code enforcement department, great job. They're very polite, very respectful, very, very nice, and it's welcome change considering some other things I've been through in town. So I just want to, I apologize that I do not remember their names. I really wish I could remember them because they do deserve credit for that because they really did do an excellent job. They weren't snotty or rude or, like I said, I've had a lot of problems with people in town, and I just want to say, when the government does do good work, you should compliment them, and you should, when the government does something that you don't like, you should criticize them. That's the way it should be. That's the way I am, and that's what I'm doing tonight. And the people there, great people. And like I said, I keep referring to him as Latino, maybe he's very nice. Spent a lot of time with me on the phone, on the email, and I panicked because I had a deadline. In like 2 days, I couldn't get a hold of him, call him up because he was on the road a lot. So I came to the municipal building just before a holiday. I think it was July 4th, something like that. But and someone from code enforcement was downstairs at the building department desk, and he says, "Yeah, everybody's gone for the weekend. It's a holiday weekend." And you know, I had that deadline to do it, and I says, "I can't do it because it's going to rain." So he says, "Okay, no problem." They gave me an extension, but they were great to work with. So you have the building. Just want to say that code enforcement does a great job, and like I said, I don't want been critical of the township, certain departments in particular, and certain people in particular, but not everything in Brick Township is bad. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Gentleman in the red shirt.
Leonardakis, 45 Davos Road.
Yeah. What was your name again, sir? I'm sorry.
Len Leonardakis, 45 Davos Road. My first council meeting too. Don't really envy you.
All right. Well, relax. You're good.
Yeah. So I'm here to voice my concerns regarding the parking restrictions that were proposed for Davos Road. Yeah, I've lived there for 20 plus years now, and I know I see a bunch of my neighbors here have been there longer than I have. The one incident that Tim referenced is the only time we ever heard that there was an issue with an emergency vehicle getting down that road, yet they're proposing a full restriction on parking for the entire road. It just doesn't seem to make sense. There's one problem area, one choke point, and because some idiot parked there and left, you know, basically not only parked near that tree that Tim was referring to, but also away from it, it caused issues. We think that there's probably other, we could look at other ways to address the particular problem, whether it's just a restriction on parking within 50 feet, you know, or 100 feet within that tree, or something like that, rather than the entire road. So basically, just here to urge you to look at a more targeted solution rather than a restriction on the entire road. You know, I did look at those RSIS requirements that were referenced. They, you know, they talk about the width of the road. They do show actual diagrams where they have, where you have 30 feet of road where they allow 2 rows of parking, and they account for 7 feet on each side. If you look at that, you know, they're talking about 2 rows of parking with 7 feet on each side and a 16-foot cart path. You know, we're just talking about even if you restrict it to one side or where that tree is, to, you know, no parking within that zone, you still have 14 feet if you consider the 7-foot parking zone on the left or on the one side. So I think there is plenty of room for emergency vehicles to go down that road if you just target the solution to parking in that one choke point. That's all I really have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. In a red shirt, please.
How we doing? Ed Rillo, 30 Lagoon Drive West. And this is upon the Najeco beach dredging that I would like to add to the list of those 2 end properties that weren't in with paying the dredging. Now they got over 80% of their yard dockable for boats now that they never had before on us. Before they weren't able to use their property, now they can. I just wanted to bring that up. Okay?
Thank you. Mr. Finelli.
Thanks to Daniel Lee, I finally got to look at that whole package for the pilot program for the sports complex. So I have a few more questions. You don't mind, right? First off, if the school is not getting any money because they're really not impacted by this, why does the county get 5%? Are they impacted by this?
That's the state law. They have somebody must have been a good lobbyist for them.
The last time I got that answer wasn't exactly accurate about a state law.
It's a state law for all pilot programs. That's just the formula.
Do you know why they get 5%?
It's the legislation. It's in the legislation.
Politics.
It's the law.
Okay, that's your answer, but doesn't explain why they get it. The second one, in both ordinance readings for the last 2 meetings, it's written in the ordinance that the average payment to the township is going to be $280,000 a year. Where did that number come from? What does that number represent?
I don't remember that number, but I can pull out the stuff. I remember 174.
No, it's in the ordinance, 280,000, trust me.
I don't have the ordinance. Anybody have the ordinance? Because it's only right now it's only estimates. It's going to be based on the actual income. So I don't know.
Well, you voted on 2 ordinances twice, and both times it said $280,000 average. I wrote it down. I asked the question last time. Now I got the package, and I'm looking at the package of what's in the proposal, and it's got 30-year payments. In order to get to $280,000, you got to go all the way to year 19, and the total amount of the payments in the package is $7,320,000. That comes out to $244,000 a year. Even if you add in the 2% administration fee that you're charging them, that's another $97,000. That comes up to $247,000 a year, average. Oh, that may not sound like much, but $33,000 a year times 30 years comes out to over $1 million. My question is, where did that number? Did you just throw that out there, or somebody just thought it? Or?
In my explanations, I don't have the 280 in my explanation, so I guess I didn't say it. But I don't know if it says it in the ordinance. I don't have the ordinance. Do you have the ordinance?
Trust me, it's there.
Okay.
All you got to do is go back and look at the last meeting, which I did to make sure I was right. The last 2 meetings with the ordinance, and look at the package. It says $280,000 average. So I was just wondering why the discrepancy.
Yeah.
All right, I'll tell you what. You can look at the ordinance and then answer me the next meeting, because it's in there. I wouldn't be saying if it wasn't.
Yeah, no problem.
I checked before I brought it up tonight. I checked. Trust me.
Yeah.
All right.
Not a
Well,
problem.
your package says $7,320,000. That comes out to $244,000 a year. Is that accurate, or is that again an estimate? This is right out of the contract.
So that's probably the up to point, and then if it goes over that, we get more than that.
Okay.
That's part of the contract.
But right now, this is what you're projecting. What's in the contract?
Yes. Yes, that's the numbers. Yes.
Okay, 244.
Okay.
Okay. My last one, and this is the one that's stuck in my craw. Several times I asked about the court time for the school district, but nobody knew the answer. Well, the answer's in the contract. And what it says is the school district gets to share 3 hours a week with the Township Recreation Department. And in fact, in order to book the court time, the school district has to go through the Township Recreation Department to book it. Now, none of that was mentioned when I brought it up twice. And my question is, do you think the school district is going to pay to ship kids over to the school, over to that complex for 1.5 hours a week court time?
It's actually, it's 3 hours.
Shared with the township, and the township gets to book it first. That's what it says.
Well, they wanted one point of contact for booking. I wanted it to be the athletic directors of the school. They refused. They said, we want one person. So we went with our employee here.
Who wanted one person?
The developer.
So that he wanted one person, but he wouldn't take the athletic director?
No, because there's two. There's two athletic directors, so he didn't want two people. He wants it organized with one contact.
Well, you're talking about two athletic directors for the high schools. What about the middle schools? Don't they get to use it?
That's up to the athletic directors of the high schools. Yeah, the school's going to decide what they want to do at the time, but they're definitely going to get the kids over there. Whether I don't know if the parents are or if the buses are, but they were very excited about it when I told them they were included.
Did you tell them how many hours?
Yes.
An hour and a half, possible?
It's 3 hours. I know you keep saying an hour and a half. It's 3 hours a week.
It's being shared with the Township Recreation Department. Are they never going to use it?
Most likely not. It actually, we had asked our recreation director. He indicated that he didn't really envision using it because we have our facilities. And the schools need it for practice, like when it rains. When it rains for a township, like a softball game, it just gets canceled. We're not going to move it inside the dome. But the high schools are different. They practice. In speaking with the Business and Finance Committee, they felt that the township should be part of the arrangement of at least having the ability to use the fields at some point, if necessary. So that's when we added it in afterwards.
These are just the basketball courts, right?
No, this is the fields. This is the basketball courts, the fields, the the lacrosse, soccer, football, everything.
And the township has all their own facilities, their own basketball courts and everything else? Or they'd only be, what are you telling me, they'd only be using it if it rains?
They can use it whenever they want, but the envisioning of it is for basically rainy times. So, or cold, I guess excessive cold. Baseball tryouts are in February. It's usually freezing. Now they can do it inside the dome. But that's up to the athletic directors to decide. Yeah.
Okay, so my point is still, there's a good chance that the school district could only get to use this stuff 1.5 hours a week. That's sharing it with the recreation department, which was never mentioned in all the discussions we had here, that they were sharing it with the recreation department, or that they had to go through the recreation department. All it was is that all I heard for 2 meetings was the school district is going to get to use the facilities.
Yes.
Not share the facilities with somebody else, but get to use them. I think we could have done a much better job of communicating what this whole thing was, or in fact put it on there so we don't have to open it to get the information that we need.
Thank you. Anybody else from public? Yes, sir. In the back with the blue sweatshirt. Or black, blue, I can't see that far. How are you?
My name's Gary Charles. I live on 32 Davos Road, and I want to assert the problem. Now, I've been here 46 years on that street, and we haven't any problem just recently with the parking. Now, I have a single driveway. Now, I have my son and my grandson living with us. They each have a car. So where am I supposed to put these cars? It's going to cost me $3,000 or $4,000 to span my driveway. If they start digging tickets, I don't know where to go with this. It's a little hairy. And I don't want to park the cars on my lawn because I put a nice lawn in. I mean, I'll be tearing that apart. I mean, the whole problem is the Windward Tavern actually started this thing, and this should be solved. And Windward Beach goes on top of that. Like, the same night. They have their little flings, Windward Tavern. Then Windward Beach kicks in with the fireworks and everything. That draws more and more people. And, I mean, I love the fireworks and stuff. I mean, they're really nice. But, something has to go. I don't know why I should get worried about getting tickets if my 2 cars are out front on the curve. I got sidewalks and curves on my side. And the town could maybe widen it up or something. I don't know what to do with this. I don't want to get tickets. My son don't want to get tickets, and I don't want to get any tickets. I got 1-car driveway. So what I do? I spend $3,000 or $4,000 to expand my driveway to suit him up there? I don't think so. That's not right. I've been there a long time, and we haven't had any problems so recently. There's more and more people in this town, of course. And everyone wants to have fun and have a good time, go out. But it has to, there's no way in heck that emergency vehicle or a first aid or fire truck can even get down that street. And what are we supposed to do? Intercom them? Say, oh, you want to move your vehicles? I don't think so. That ain't going to happen. I mean, like right now, I'm up in age a little bit. I have some symptoms going on. I don't want to have to lay in the house, wait for the ambulance to come if I need it. It's all partly because of Windward Tavern. It's like, I don't care how wide the road is. I mean, it's 24. The contractor, when they put the road in, why didn't they make it to a legal thing? That's what I don't understand. And it's like, what do I do with this? Worried about if you guys pass it, if I get the tickets. I mean, what do you do with this? I don't think it's fair. Anybody?
That's why you're here, for your comments. So
Pardon?
That's why you're here. We're here to listen to your comments and your
Yes.
neighbors' comments. That's why we're here. So this is your 5 minutes to speak. So.
Yeah, it's just, I don't want to worry about that now. Like, because I don't have that kind of money, $3,000 or $4,000 to open up my driveway more and make, for 2 more cars. I mean, yes, I know it's the township property street and everything, but the other up in the rest of the street doesn't have sidewalks and curves. So that takes away 10 feet. Because the township owns that. And unless you want to parking up on the sidewalk, I mean, But that's, that's how I stand with that. And I understand the parking problem, even down here tonight. We're down here tonight, and they're already parking, like over there. And today's what, Wednesday? No, Tuesday. And it's like, it's a hairy day, and it's really dangerous. I mean, I tried a couple times just to get out. And then you're talking about inches from going down the street. And the people walking out in front of you, I mean, I'm trying to watch both sides, watch the people coming out from the Windward Tavern thing, and it gets pretty hairy. I mean, that's where it all started from. I mean, I know the Windward, the fireworks, I think it's really great. Kids love it. It's really nice. But it's combining with his, and it's making things quadruple. And the signs that you guys put out doesn't do anything. I mean, no one enforces that. I mean, I don't know what you guys decide what you do. That's what you're paid to do. But that's where I stand. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else from public? Yes, ma'am.
My name is Kara Kellner. I live at 43 Davos Road. I just wanted to be known that I support all my neighbors in the restriction of the parking. I've lived there for 32 years. I'm concerned for the safety of the residents on the street as a nurse. I read this letter several times, and this adoption of the 1997 never really came out and addressed the street when they put this in, enforced it. And now all of a sudden, we're concerned with safety on the street because a fire truck had a problem getting down our street with their excess parking from the restaurant and the park on our street. I just think that there's other resolutions to, instead of just restricting the parking and not having any kind of parking on our street at all. As I said, there are some of our residents that only have single driveways, and their access goes in the street. The other night I came down our street, and on a normal night, there's like 2 or 3 cars in our street. The problem is when the restaurant does their entertainment outside now, and they're outside dining, their parking lot has been restricted, and his overflow goes into our street. When there's events at the park, that park also puts an impact on our street. And I just want to be known that on a normal day, you can get up and down our street. It's just when there's other events happening around us that it impacts us. That's really it.
Thank you. Anybody else from public? Yes, sir.
Sorry, I meant to address one other comment prior to my previous comments.
You say your name and address again.
I'm sorry, Tim Engelhardt, Davos Road, 30 Davos. I am all for Windward Beach with Summerfest. I enjoy it thoroughly. I utilize Windward Tavern. They bring a lot of entertainment to our community, into our neighborhood. There are signs that are put up at the end of our roads and roads all down Princeton Avenue that says no parking, no event parking. They've never been enforced. In my years that I've lived on Davos Road, I've maybe seen 2 police officers, and I'm not complaining, drive down my road in the years that I've lived there. We are a very quiet, dead-end road. We've never had issues down there as far as crime, etc. I'm not complaining about your officers, nothing. I've never seen it. No one enforces the parking. And with all that overflow from Windward Park, that has to add about 20 to 30 vehicles on our road that shouldn't be there. So if that's enforced, that would eliminate those additional people trying to park on Davos Road to attend Windward Beach events, which if their signs are up, they should be enforced, but they're not enforced. And that right there is hurting us as residents, that the town is not enforcing that. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else from public, please? Seeing none, close public. Mrs. Bergen.
The only comment I have is to say thanks and appreciation to Officer Williams, who will be retiring on November 1st, so this is his last council meeting with us.
Thank you.
He has served this town well and proudly, and we thank you for your service. That's it for me, thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Congratulations. And just some events that are coming up. We have October 1st is our Challenger Halloween from 12 to 2 at the Havens Farm. 9 to 2 is our Craft and Vendor Fair at Windward Beach. And then all day is the Brick Memorial Band Competition. When I say all day, it starts around 12, I think. It goes at least until 9:30. So if you're interested in bands, you can check out Brick Memorial that day. High school marching bands. The next Saturday we have, which is October 8th, we have our construction drop-off. So this is the opportunity for that Amnesty Day where construction material can be brought by homeowners to our hill up off of Sally Ike. That's also the town-wide yard sale that day. So you can go, if you want to sign up, you can still do that, and your information will be put on a map that's on an app, or if you just want to go shopping, you got to make sure you get that map on the app and drive around town, and it'll show you where all the different sales are. October 15th, the following Saturday, is Fall Fest, food trucks, all sorts of games. Our high school clubs and middle school clubs and sports teams will be out there with their different fundraisers, such as playing tic-tac-toe with pumpkins, or bowling with pumpkins, or dressing up scarecrows. things like that. There's also a cornhole tournament. The Beer and Wine Garden will be there, as well as fireworks at 7 o'clock. The next Friday, October 21st, is our trunk or treat at Drum Point Sports Complex. Make sure you sign up. We are looking for trunks, and there's actually the spots go very quickly for the treaters. So make sure you get to our website, Recreation, and sign up and register your car. And then on Saturday, October 22nd at noon is our annual Brick Memorial, and this year it's at Brick Township football game. So for anybody who's interested in sports. So you have sports, you have fireworks, you have food trucks, you have bands, and all sorts of fun events around town. So thanks, and I'll see you out there. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Keneally. Thank you. Madam Clerk.
Nothing, thank you.
Madam Secretary. Councilman Albanese.
Nothing.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Comment this evening, but I actually do have a question for Mr. Keneally. So in that agreement that it says the time will be 3 hours per week shared by the Recreation Department and the school board, does not mean necessarily that it's 3 hours per week to be divided equally between the Recreation Department and the school board. Is that correct?
That's my understanding, yes.
And would it be fair to say that having the Recreation Department referenced in there allows for them to use time if needed that the school board is not using?
That's correct.
That's all.
Certain times of the year, school may not be in session. There's an opportunity there to make use of it. But I think the intent of it, from my understanding, and I was in one meeting, was it's an administrative issue of who's going to deal with the property owner.
I can speak from experience when I worked in the Recreation Department that when, back in the day when we would request field permit space from the school district, we would request it on behalf of all the sports leagues and dole it out because the schools only wanted to deal with one point. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Councilwoman DeYoung.
Thank you. I just have a few events for our seniors that are coming up in October. We have the vendor fair at the VFW on Adamston Road, 9:30 to 12. Lunch is provided, but please register. They will also have the medication drop box there. So if you have any medication that you need to get rid of, please bring it there. Then on October 21st is our Halloween party at 11 o'clock, and registration for that begins on September 30th. Please don't call before September 30th because they will not register you. And then on the October 28th is lunch and games. That is also at 11 o'clock. All these events are at the VFW on Adamston Road, and you must register for that, and registration for that begins October 6th. And the phone number to call to register is 732-920-8686, and that is the senior activities for October's. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Pontarera.
Just very briefly, thank you for all of our residents who came out to speak on the issues that are on our agenda. We appreciate hearing from you, and we do take all of your comments and concerns into consideration. I also wanted to point out that October 7th, 10 a.m., here at the municipal building will be the raising of the Italian flag. It's that time of year again, 10 a.m. I look forward to seeing happy Italianos there. That's all I have.
Thank you. Councilman Halloran.
Thank you. Officer Williams, thank you for your service. We appreciate it. That's it. Good night and good luck. Thank you.
Thank you. Little mic drop. Council Vice President Crate.
Just congratulations on your impending retirement, and that's all I have for this evening.
Thank you. Congratulations, really. Next council meeting will be October 11th, 2022 at 7 p.m. here, Can I get a motion to adjourn? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion adjourned.